What's up, everybody? It's Priyon Joni. So today I got something really exciting to show you guys. I got Pioneer DJ's latest Rekordbox DJ controller. Say that 3 times as fast. The brand new DDJ-800. Well, not too brand new. It actually came out back in the summer. And the story about it kind of got eclipsed by the release of the DDJ-1000 SRT for Serato. But like I said 3 months ago, I was really excited about this specific controller because it's not just a smaller version of the DDJ-1000. It actually has some new technologies on it, which is kind of an update to the ongoing design language of Pioneer DJ with their DJ controllers. But before we get to this DJ controller, just wanted to let you know that this video is brought to you by Direct Music Service. DMS is an online database for working DJs and mix artists with different edits, remixes, and versions of your favorite songs. And if you're on the go like me, you don't have to sit at home to download your music anymore. DMS has an awesome mobile app where you can actually listen to the tracks, put them on your wish list, and they'll be ready for you on your Dropbox folder when you get home to your computer. Go to directmusicservice.com today to sign up. Now, the most notable thing you'll see on this controller is the newly designed jog wheel. And a little history on the 5-inch jog wheel from Pioneer DJ. It started on the DDJ SX 4-channel Serato controller. The SX had a 5-inch wheel with a touch capacitive top, which is different from the pressure sensitive ones on the CDJs. And it had a new, at the time, LED rotation indicator. That design carried over to the SX2 and the SX3, and it's also found on the all-in-one systems, which is the XDJ RX and the XDJ RX2. Now, the Rekordbox DJ cousin of the DDJ SX, which had a similar design, also had that same jog wheel, which was the DDJ RX. Now, the SX and the RX had a 2-channel smaller version. On the Serato side, the 2-channel version of the SX was the DDJ SR and SR2. And on the Rekordbox side was the DDJ RR. On those 2-channel models, it had a similar to an SX jog wheel, but it omitted the rotation indicator. Now, the relationship of the DDJ-800 to the DDJ-1000 is similar to the relationship of the DDJ-RR to the DDJ-RX, as well as the DDJ-SR is to the DDJ-SX. So in a way, the DDJ-800 is basically the next design up from the DDJ-RR, the 2-channel Rekordbox DJ controller. And the jog wheel is a big departure from the 5-inch touch capacitive with no rotation indicator, and now it has a totally redesigned jog wheel. The jog wheels on the DDJ-1000 and the DDJ-1000 SRT is based on the CDJ with an upgraded LCD rotation indicator that also shows you your waveforms and other data. But there's no waveform on the SRT model. Now, here on the 800, we have a similar size to the DDJ SX jog wheel, but it's redesigned to have the CDJ style ridges. It's touch capacitive, unlike the 1000, but it does have a new, smaller version of the LCD rotation indicator that does show the waveforms and other data. And on top of that, unlike the previous 5-inch jog wheels, this one now has the tension adjustment, just like on the bigger CDJ style jog wheels. It has a beat effects section similar to the Nexus mixers, just like on the DDJ-1000. So a cool thing about the DDJ-800 is I can use some of the effects to generate some sounds even though I don't have a track loaded. Now let me show you what I mean. The thing about the beat effects on the 800 is that it is dependent on having Rekordbox DJ connected to it, which means a laptop with Rekordbox DJ open has to be working. But let me show you what I mean by one of the effects, by using the effects to generate sound. So I'm gonna bring over the Mobius. I'm gonna do like an uplifter sound. And then I can switch to a downlifter. Use the dub echo. Makes for an interesting ending when you're ending your set. Now, another thing you can do is use the noise effect, and I know this has been done plenty of times, but basically it generates a white noise, and then you can use the color effects knob to control it, and then you use your crossfader to scratch with it. So this is a 2-channel physical layout controller, but it's actually a 4-channel DJ controller. Number one, the beat effects actually has 4 channels onto it. So how do you use 4 channels? Well, right here on the input selector, you can either have decks 1 and 2, which are the default, and then you can switch to deck 3 and deck 4. What happens is whatever the mixer setting you were using, it will actually stay there until you switch back to that deck. So one small use of the 4-channel control. On deck 4, I can always keep a scratch sample there. Okay? And then I could go back to deck 2 to mix songs. That way I don't have to search, type, or try to go to my scratch sample. I can always just easily click to deck 4 and then start scratching when I have a song playing on the left side. Now, something I noticed that's really cool when you're switching deck to deck is that, let's say I have master tempo off on deck 4 and I have the pitch range set to wide, and I'm doing one of my crazy cue button scratches. But now I wanted to stop, switch over to deck 2, and quickly mix a song in. When I switch to deck 2, all my deck settings are back to normal on that specific deck. Master tempo's on, and then the tempo range is back to 10%. I switch to deck 2, it's back to wide with the master tempo off. So that's really cool. So that way it doesn't screw up your settings, or you have to go back to those settings. The settings for tempo range and master tempo are independent on each deck inside the software. Another cool thing is whenever somebody is mixing with 4 decks, quantize becomes very, very important. I love the fact that the quantize buttons are really big and very, very visible. The loop controls now, just like on the DDJ-1000, are more CDJ style, with the in and the out, with the exit right there. The tempo slider, I like the fact that it's CDJ length. Now, on entry-level controllers, I know that the performance pads have a click. This does not have a click, so I can do... So other cool things about this controller is the fact that there are 2 microphone inputs and they're both balanced. One is a Nutric XLR and 1/4 inch, while the other is a balanced 1/4 inch. And what's cool about them is there is an attenuation knob to control your input on both microphones. So you don't have 2 microphones that are misbalanced where one is way too louder than the other. And a lot of times, a big complaint on DJ controllers is they generally don't have great preamps, but the microphone preamps in Pioneer DJ controllers have been improving over time. So let's try this.
Check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check 1 2. Welcome. Check 1 2. Welcome. I sound like a wedding DJ. Check 1 2.
Here's another cool thing I love, and I know a lot of the Rekordbox controllers do have this, but here in the effects, go to the mixer, there is a crossfader cut lag distance control. So I can make the cut either really, really close when the crossfader cut is sharp. What that is the distance from the end where the sound's cut off to the distance where the sound cuts on, which is, it can be controlled. So let's say I want something really lush when I'm crabbing. Or maybe I have fat fingers, or I just want it to sound a little bit more choppy so it's more defined. Now I set it to 2.1 and the distance is really far, like that far. And I personally wouldn't ever go over 1.5. I usually keep mine at 0.7. Now the thing I love is this crossfader. The reason why I like it is because it's very smooth. It feels like a rail glide fader. It's very stable. it doesn't wobble around going this way and this way. It stays in place. And when it hits the end, it doesn't have a very loud click. It's almost like it's hitting a rubber stop. I know on the S9, there are rubber stoppers at the end. My guess is, I've never opened this up, but there is a rubber stopper on there because it has a very mute click when it hits the end. And I like that sound because I don't like the sound of it hitting plastic. So for me, this is a very smooth fader, and I love the fact that there is cut lag distance control. Now, one thing I love about this jog wheel is the fact that I feel that when I scratch on it, it's a lot tighter. And I've had a side-by-side comparison with the DDJ SX3. The SX3 had improved latency on it, but now because it's redesigned and it has the CDJ style ridges on it, I feel it's a little tighter when I scratch on it. So, and when I increase the jog tension up, it gives me a little bit more resistance. Now, real quick, let's do a sound quality test on the scratching. So let's do normal speed, master tempo is off. Let's do high speed. Let's do slow. And let's do really slow. Let's see how that sounds like with master tempo on, because sometimes master tempo affects the way the scratching sounds. So let's start with normal speed. Let's do high speed. Now let's do slow. Let's do really slow. So I don't hear any warbling, maybe a little bit when I do extra slow, but that's beyond the point of practical scratching. It's really rare to go that slow, especially on a controller. Another awesome thing that they put on this controller that I really appreciate, and nobody really talked about in other reviews, maybe there is someone out there, but the ones I've watched, I haven't seen one where they mentioned this, was the fact that they have an auxiliary input that has RCA on it. I'm glad they brought that back because on the DDJ SR2 and the DDJ RR, they did away with the auxiliary input. The DDJ SR, the first one, did have an auxiliary. I'm glad they brought it back, but not only did they bring it back, but they added this switch, which gives it a plus 12 decibel boost. And the reason why I find that important is because let's say you have a buddy that's going to be spinning with you and your controller is the main board, and he brings a DDJ SB3 or a DDJ-400, an entry-level controller. Entry-level controllers have a slightly weaker output than the bigger controllers. Whenever I play with somebody with an S9, I always come in quiet, even though my volume knob on my master is at max, which is at 0 dB. And when I'm playing with someone who always plays into the red with their gains, there's not much volume that I can bring in. I have to do this awkward thing where I got to bring their gains down, turn the master up, so I get more volume on my entry-level controller. But on a DDJ-800, it's not really necessary. There's a switch that can boost the input 12 decibels. And as some of you guys already seen, you guys know that I play with musical instruments when I use DJ gear. So that 12 decibel boost is very useful. Another thing I noticed, it has a really fat, nice scroll knob right in the middle. I like the size of that. I rarely use it. I still like to go into my computer and select it and mouse it, but this is pretty cool. Another thing I really like is the fact that the DDJ-800 has a key sync button. It's just right below the beat sync, which is the sync button. The key sync is a different button, which basically it matches the harmonic key of one track to the other. Without it, you would have to go into your computer and press the key sync, or you would have to click right on the harmonic key adjustment in order to match two songs to the same key. Now, I wouldn't really recommend changing the key of songs, because when you mix in key, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay in the same key. You could jump around in fifth intervals, which is what the Camelot wheel is all about. More on that on a different video. But the key sync is really useful if you want to take an acapella of a track and you want to use the instrumental of another track that's not the same key. you can easily, with one button, match that acapella to that track that you're dropping in. So let's say I want to key sync the acapella to Zed's Clarity with a track called House Phone. Right now, Clarity is at, the relative is F minor, but the Camelot number is 4. And then House Phone is G flat minor, which is F sharp minor as well. And the Camelot number is 11A. So chromatically, House Phone is one note higher than Clarity, but when you put them together without any key syncing, it's going to sound like this.
And you can call me on my house.
Sounds like a bad mashup, but all you have to do to get this synced harmonically to House Phone, you press the key sync button, and then now.
And you can call me on my house.
Sounds a little bit better. Now that track was a little bit on the major while House Phone was on the minor, but when you really learn how to use that key sync function, it becomes super useful for doing live remixes on the fly. So let's do a quick mix of 3 house tracks just to check it out when you're mixing with the DDJ-800.
My vision's blurring up, can't see too clear. And now this PYT is whispering in my ear. All my friends think I should go home, and I don't know what I did with my phone. Should've left that last one alone, and I know, but I'm on a good one, and I might do something wild tonight. Yeah, I'm on a good one, and I'm feeling alright. I took an Advil just to numb the pain. I kinda knew it was gonna hurt this way.
All right, so we're all done. That was the DDJ-800 from Pioneer DJ. Wait, one more thing. I forgot to show you guys where you can load the air horn sample. Just kidding. All right, guys, this was the DDJ-800 Rekordbox DJ controller from Pioneer DJ. I'm going to leave a link in the pinned comments below where you can find one. Be sure to check one out at one of your local stores. If you guys got any questions, comments, or anything to add about the DDJ-800, be sure to leave them in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, answer any questions, or learn anything new from you guys. If you guys like this video, please smash that like button. And if it's your first time here and you found this video useful, be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click that little bell icon so you get a notification the next time I upload a video. All right, guys, this was Prion Johnny signing off. Take care.